how do I become more abundant? How do I make more money? How do I have more experiences? How do I have more time in my day? How do I have more nourishing relationships? Those are some of the questions that I'm going to endeavor to answer in this video. So I've been working for myself most of my life, and I've had quite a lot of freedom and flexibility as a result of that. I can live where I want, I can go where I want, I don't have a boss, I can work when I want, if I even want to work, and I feel an abundance in a lot of ways. And at first I was trying to find this abundance externally, because I thought that that would lead to having the abundance that I wanted. If I could get someone to give me loads of money, then I will have the abundance. And what I realized is that that's actually not how it works. And I see people all the time waiting for the chicken or the egg before, whatever. Just like to give you a tangible example, people want to wait until they're successful to charge lots of money for their work, but ironically, charging lots of money is what's going to make you, let's say, financially successful. And so, rather than focusing on the external wealth, we have to focus on the inner wealth. And what this looks like is really actually identifying what is the value that you have to share with the world, and owning that. Because if you can't own that, then the world isn't going to own it, because you need to project it out, and then it would be reflected back to you in the form of money. So just to give you my own example, like, I always knew that I had a lot to share. I always enjoyed public speaking. I always enjoyed connecting with people, inspiring people, motivating people. And in order for me to bring that forth in the world and be paid for it, which is the primary focus of my business, is mentorship, coaching, consulting. In order for me to attract clients for that, I had to actually acknowledge, you know what, David, you do have an interesting perspective on things. You do have this ability to listen and ask questions in your unique way that supports people. You have that. And so, in order for people to benefit from this, we're going to have to share that with the world through content. And that's what I did. And if you don't know yet what your unique value proposition is, then I've made a free resource that helps you uncover this, and the link will be in the description. It's within our free school community. And that's what I use every time I decide to come up with a new offer, and it's what I share with clients as well. So if that's something you're struggling with, you can just use that resource. But it's not like I started making content and then people said, "Oh, David, you're amazing," which they don't. By the way, many people don't say I'm amazing all the time, but some people enjoy what I do, right? And it's not that I was making the content and then they said that and then I felt like that, right? It's not like the world paid me lots of money and then I had material abundance. That's not how it worked. It started by saying, okay, I have something to share. I'm a little bit scared to put this out there, but I know that this is useful because I care deeply about it. Maybe I've even witnessed a few people casually say it to me. "Oh, have you ever thought about being a motivational speaker?" That's what people used to say to me when I was a teenager. And I certainly don't consider myself a motivational speaker. I don't think motivational speaking is useful. But I think empowering people to make decisions and take action, I think that's really powerful. So that's what I love to do. I love to help people tap into their gifts and bring that forth in their business. And so when I acknowledge all of that within me, my actions started to bridge that inner wealth with the outer wealth or the external wealth. And for me, how that looked was I would make a video the video would go viral, maybe, sometimes. And then I would get all sorts of validation from people sharing nice words or people booking in to work with me. And that kept happening over and over again. And that's just one tiny piece of it, right? Because at that point, I was definitely doing well in terms of receiving the attention, which is one way that people pay. They pay with attention or they pay with money. But the paying with money thing was a whole other piece. And I get very successful creators, like in terms of their viewership and stuff, coming to me all the time because they're not making any money. So they're good with the attention, but they aren't good with the money side of things because it's another piece of the puzzle. And so usually if someone has a big audience but a small paycheck, it's because they haven't identified the value, the monetary value on what they have to offer. And so again, it comes back to, okay, well, what are your gifts and how can they help somebody? And how can we package that up so that someone can purchase it, to work with you or to buy some sort of product or whatever? And a lot of people really struggle with that because they haven't cultivated the inner wealth. They haven't recognized, what I have to offer is actually worth money. And maybe it's because there's some sort of judgment around money. And in an ideal world, people would say, hey, I want to pay you loads of money. And you'd say, okay. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you have to make it known that you have an opportunity for someone to invest in. And if you don't believe you have an opportunity worth investing in, if you haven't cultivated that inner wealth around your own products and services and offerings, you're not going to broadcast this to the world. And so how are you going to receive this material abundance if you don't give someone the opportunity and if you don't create an awareness campaign around it and then a sales process and on and on and on? If you don't do that, people aren't going to be able to send money to your bank account. And I get it. You want the money in your bank and then you want to say, yeah, this is how much it is and blah, blah, blah. But there's always going to be a period between where you are and where you want to go, okay? And this period is going to be spooky because it's unknown. You haven't been there, right? So there's going to be a period of stretching yourself as you step over. And a lot of people, they just want this part to come here and drag your freaking scarcity mindset over. But your scarcity mindset has to stay here, right? These are actually just two frequencies, basically. So your scarcity frequency is here, and this is your abundance frequency. There's going to be a period where you're in neither. And what happens here is, right, oftentimes they'll have a plan, okay, and they'll start executing on the plan. So let's just say I'm going to launch a mentorship program next month, okay? So I'm here in scarcity mode. I'm like, I'm going to become abundant, right? So my abundant self is like, cool, we're going to plan stuff, going to hire a coach, we're going to do this together, blah, blah, blah. And then let's say after 2-3 weeks of trying, or even months, you're still not here at abundance. Your scarcity mindset is screaming at you, it's going to fail, you're ripping people off, you suck, nobody likes you, and you're a loser, right? And it's so easy to just look back at that voice and be like, oh, you're right, I'm going to come back and fully commit to being a loser. I'm going to fully commit to being broke, and I'm going to moan about it. I'm going to be a victim of my circumstances, and I can't do anything about it, right? That's what our scarcity mind says. And that voice is so loud. Now on the flip side, what we could do is we could hear that scarcity version of self screaming, come back, come back. Don't embrace your value. Don't tell people that it's €5,000 to work with you. Don't do that. Please come back. I don't want to be judged, right? So you can just turn your head, you can listen, and you be like, I love you. I appreciate you. But I'm not going to take that feedback on board today, because I believe I have something worth offering, and I believe I'm worthy of receiving whatever amount of money you want to receive, and I'm going to pursue that. And then you keep trekking along, right? And maybe you get a few no's. Maybe the first 5 people you speak to about your offer say, nah, can't afford it. Nah, don't like it. Whatever they say, right? Which is statistically pretty normal. Like, if you're selling your own stuff, you might make 1 sale for every 4 conversations you have. Every 3 to 4 conversations, you should make 1 sale, roughly, if you're good at selling. If you're not good at selling yet, then it's going to take you a little bit more time to cultivate that skill, which is okay. But every time someone says no, you're getting closer to a yes, okay? And you're getting closer to this abundance frequency. But every time someone says no, this scarcity person is going to be screaming at you, come back, you're embarrassing yourself, don't do it, we're not meant to be rich, get a job, you only need 14 days of holidays per year anyway. Who wants to have a 2-hour workday and unlimited holidays and the ability to travel the world? We don't want that. No, of course some people are happy with whatever, and I'm assuming if you're watching this, you'd be more interested in living the more freedom kind of lifestyle. So every time this voice screams at you, just remember, you are someone who has a lot to share, and you have to broadcast that to the people and to the universe in order for that to be reflected back to you. And when you do that, you will eventually arrive at this space of abundance where maybe you have your first few clients who pay you lots of money and they give you some fantastic feedback. And now, this whole version of you that was like penny pinching just seems so far away. But that's because you've improved your baseline to this new frequency. And it doesn't mean that you're gonna just perpetually be abundant and never worry about stuff ever again. Of course you will. It's life. We're always gonna find something to be concerned about. That's okay. Just give yourself the grace and take it slow and trust yourself, because that's where it all starts. It all starts with your perception of yourself, and then the world will reflect that back to you. And a part of this as well is embracing your unique attributes, because that is also a huge reason that you're gonna be in this space of abundance, because you're recognizing not only your skills and how much value you have to add, but the fact that only you are doing it in the way that you're doing it, because you're the only you. And you've got this unique hodgepodge mixture of experiences and skills and whatnot, and you can't get it anywhere else. And that is worth a lot. So don't just be thinking you're like anybody else. You're not. You're unique, and there's a price tag that comes with acquiring unique skills, unique service providers. And so, in addition to all of what I've said, don't forget, you are a brand, you are premium. And the difference between spending $100 on something and $5,000 is that brand, it's that trust, it's that credibility that's been built up. And if we're stuck in the realm of scarcity, we won't acknowledge that. We'll downplay ourselves. And you're worth more than that. You deserve more than that. And it's yours to step into. But you got to have the courage to walk across this gap. And when you do, the abundance is pretty good. And then you end up having to do it all over again, and you end up like, I don't know, doing a new hop, skip, and a jump in future. So don't ever feel like it's gonna be over, because it's not.